Since the last Blue Baby stream, I've been continuing to work in the background on completing characters in The Binding of Isaac. And to that end, I got 3 different runs that I wanted to showcase today, using Tainted Lazarus and Tainted Lost, some of the more frustrating characters that you can play as in the game. Although, if I'm being honest, it was really just waiting until I had a run that was good enough to actually get somewhere, and then I finally hit record, which is why each one of these is going to be starting kind of in media res. Look, this took many runs to get to this point. It was not a quick thing. As much as I would have liked to have recorded everything, it's just I don't even think that I have that much space on my computer. Well, anyway, we're starting out here with Tainted Lazarus to the Hush fight, which is not the most difficult fight that Tainted Lazarus can do. I still want to say it's probably boss rush, because that is a 20-minute time limit, and plus each time you beat a wave of enemies, you switch back and forth between each character, which means that you have to have a run good enough to beat boss rush on 2 characters in 20 minutes. Or, exploit the whole, Mama Mega, or maybe carry the broken shovel piece with you. Look, there's options, but it's all very RNG. No matter what you do, it's all very RNG dependent. But here, I actually started out with a pretty good run that, surprisingly enough, right at the start there, got even better picking up Lacrophagy. Because, to start with, I have Book of Virtues, which seems to be maybe the best item that you can possibly get as Tainted Lazarus. Pretty much, it generates wisps every single time you use an active item, but also every time you switch back and forth between the characters. And you continue to retain the wisps in between the characters, so even if one of your dudes, for example, Lazarus here, is sort of underpowered, the fact that they have all these wisps around them really buffs out their damage anyway. Combine that with getting Trisygon plus Lacrophagy, which just has your tears hang around for a very long time and pierce enemies for even longer. It's that's a good build for dealing with Hush, who is very stationary and you can hit a bunch of times like that. So even though I only got 6.64 damage on Lazarus 2, the sequel to Lazarus, it's still enough to actually beat the boss pretty easily. I mean, provided that I have enough health for it in the first place. Though the wisps should be able to just completely block a lot of shots that Hush is going to be putting out. It's no, this is a very lucky run. An extremely lucky run. I mean, hell, I even got a planetarium from and got a soul from that, which allows me to see where the boss is, which means that I'm able to get down to the next floor even faster, which is good because even as fast as I'm going right now, I kind of need to book it. It's only a half hour before the Hush fight closes, and that's generally less time than you might think. Now, this would actually also be a good time to go do boss rush, but that's the next one that I have going on here. Yeah, the wisps would definitely be enough to just seeing if anything is good enough to actually take. Yeah, D1's pretty good. Glitter Bomb's also pretty good. Not going to take those, though. Yeah, it's that would have been a good time to do the boss rush. However, at this point, I had already done that. I'm just starting out with the one where I'm doing Hush because, well, let's just say that of the 3 runs I'm going to be showing right now, that's probably the most meticulous and tedious one, which is why I think it's best saved for second. Here it's I'm actually, doing the whole time limit thing, which means that we're not waiting around on each floor trying to exploit various game-breaking mechanics for all they're worth. Hey, speed up, nice. Of course, the whole thing with having the wisps is that they do tend to, you lose them pretty quickly in the face of bosses, but I think I would still probably be able to beat anything fast enough that I wouldn't lose them too quickly. Besides, like I said, you also regain them every single time you switch back and forth, which is really weird. I don't know why it does that. I guess it's the flip mechanic is sort of considered an active item, but I'd regen them pretty quickly. Let's just say that. All right, but yeah, still, like I said, Soul helping out a lot here. At least I know where I need to go, because otherwise, I know one of the very frustrating things when it comes to trying to make time limits in the Binding of Isaac is, getting through floors fast enough. There are quite a few times that I've had where I would have been easily able to beat Hush and like Delirium and everything, but it's like I kept running into dead ends over and over, endlessly, forever. So some sort of mapping is at least appreciated. You also get like the sun card effect for a full heal and everything after I beat the boss, but I don't know if that actually works with Tainted Lazarus. I mean, I think you might switch back and forth too quickly to actually make that function right. I don't know. Well, either way, Lazarus actually has to fight the boss here, which is good. That's why I have the Bible in the first place. But it's like, I think he probably would have been able to handle it even without that, just because the sheer amount of wisps. Would have really done a number on the amount of wisps, though, that I had. All right, hey, and even more health on top of that world card. That's not very useful. Ace of Hearts is one that I decided to take along just in case, well, Hush actually does spawn a lot of, like, ads. You can get a bunch of the flies and everything around there, which means that I can transform those all into hearts and get a ton of healing if absolutely necessary. And that was pretty much the last thing that I felt like I needed to try and to be successful in this fight in particular. By the way, did I totally miss that there was a key in the shop? Yeah. Don't worry, I go back for it. Look, as you can see, this is pretty much a lock at this point. I don't think that I need to really optimize exactly how I'm playing right now, to say the least. I mean, after all, you don't switch back and forth between characters in this fight, so you can deal with it pretty well. Yeah, the whole, like, Trisagon hanging around for a very long time and then just splitting off and hitting Hush over and over. Trisagon's big thing is that the shots will do multiple hits to any enemy. Hey, there we go. That is a lot of hearts, like I said. The shots will do multiple hits to an enemy. It's like if an enemy is large enough, especially, you can hit him like 3 to 4 times, which is what makes it so powerful here. And of course, having like growth hormones and the negative and everything also buffed up the damage quite a bit as well. Yep, this is one of those things where it's like Tainted Lazarus. The important thing is that you just get extremely lucky in your build. Look, there's things you can do. There's stuff you can do to try and make the RNG go in your favor in the Binding of Isaac. There's a lot of stuff that I do to make that happen. It's one of the things that I really like about the game, the entire idea that... I know Edmund McMillan said that originally he wanted to try and make a Binding of Isaac like Zelda plus NetHack. And I do think that, hey, compared to like a lot of roguelites that I played, this, and as well as, I don't know, like maybe, yay, this as well as like, God, I don't know, Noita probably does that best. Like the sheer amount of shenanigans you can pull. But one of the things that comes about because of that is the fact that being on a time limit means that you can't really do too much with that. Unless you really would just want to exploit it to the point that you can force the time stuff to really now. Yeah, okay. This is excessive. I know, and look, I knew when I did this that it was excessive. Look, man, I'm done here. I'm just going to have a little bit of fun. This is a video game after all. I'm here to have fun. But anyway, yeah, a good capper for Tainted Lazarus, not just beating Hush twice in a row. There's no point in doing this, especially because I didn't even have the keys to open up most of this thing in the first place. And besides, there's nothing else to unlock, so this is just me clowning on the boss. Hey, it's a good build for it. Even without... I've lost all the wisps now, and I'm still doing just fine in terms of damage. The constant hits are working out pretty well. Oh, don't worry, though. If you think that it's just like, oh, this is just silly, you know, due to the whole RNG. Well, don't worry. The next run will be a lot more of that shenanigan-focused thing. Because it's like, although I could have done boss rush in this run, and probably would have if I didn't have already completed. Hey, it takes a while to do, and that means that I'm going to be running up against the whole, like, 30-minute time limit if I decide to do that. Besides, it's just like, unless it was like some sort of absurdly good item, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Tainted Lazarus, though. It's like, yeah, you can get a good run with Tainted Lazarus. It's true. You can get a good run with Tainted Lazarus, even without RNG. Well, you still need like a little bit of RNG, but there's plenty of things that will let you get RNG working in your favor anyway. It's just, it takes time, and 20-minute, half-hour time limit does not work super well with that. Alright, well, that was dumb. And it's like, I just decided to leave the run at that point, because it's just like, why even bother? Should have died, though, so I at least got the benefit from, using, Eden's Blessing, which lets you start with another item in the next run. So here, run number 2. Tainted Lazarus to the Mother Fight, Tainted Lazarus to Boss Rush. Now, you might think that it's just like, this is a weird place to be going into Boss Rush, and you'd be right. It is. However, I have the spin down dice. I mean, that's the whole thing, where it's just like, there are plenty of things that you can do to really get the RNG in your favor, and this is it. Spin down dice, red key, and then that weird Genesis exploit was how I beat some of the more difficult bosses in the entirety of, well, the whole Tainted Lazarus thing. Because what I noticed there is the Crooked Penny. Crooked Penny is, I think, like 3 rerolls away from getting Mama Mega, which, regardless of how long you've taken in the run, 45 minutes, you can still get into Boss Rush or the Hush fight, and obviously I was like, well, I'm going to do the Boss Rush. You can also see, yep, there's Mama Mega right there. Also, just finding the Charge Beggar here helped out a lot, because that means that I can still get a lot of usage out of my spin down dice even despite that. Look, there is good reason why I decided to get this thing unlocked as soon as I was going for the Tainted characters, because I knew that it was going to be very handy. There's a lot of extra health on top of that. And I think that's what Tainted Isaac to Delirium. That was one of the first things I unlocked because of this exact scenario. I mean, you know, even on top of everything else, stuff like getting the mind, so I get full mapping, the body, which gives me just a ton of extra health, getting Tech X in the first place, all due to having the spin down dice. Because it's just like, spin down dice turns, what is it, that ventricle cutter lets you teleport between rooms, it's a Portal reference, is, God, the speed on Lazarus 2, the sequel to Lazarus, is so bad. But yeah, it's like, that's usually a pretty unimpressive item, but then you can just re-roll it right into Tech X, which is great. It was exactly what I wanted to do here. Being able to spin down the IV bag there also meant that I could pretty much just... I mean, Lump of Coal, extra damage when your tears travel farther. Look at that. Look how big they get by the end of that. Also, the Guppy's Paw, which lets me get a lot of soul hearts. Even though I can't refill those, I shouldn't need to. It's just more insurance than anything else. It's like all due to having the spin down dice. And there's a lot of ways that you can exploit the game. Any sort of dice in general is one of your best friends in terms of doing that. Spin down dice, obviously very good, but like D6 can re-roll it to a similar item in the same room. So it's just like as long as you're re-rolling shop items, for example, you have a high chance of eventually getting Mama Mega as long as you have like a charge beggar or something on your side. Those guys take an ungodly amount of money before they actually pay out after all. I spent like 100 cents or something doing that, and they still haven't paid out. So, depending on what you can get a lot of rerolls off it, is what I'm saying. There's also like the D20, creating a bunch of chests, as you saw in the Tainted Cane run. There's, stuff like I got the Blank Rune here. Blank Rune plus Yera. Very good combination. D1 can similarly do that sort of stuff with like a Yera Rune or a Dice Shard, which is D20 plus D6 when you use it. You just keep continuously copying that over and over. I had a very good Blue Baby run where I did that. It's like there's so many different things you can do. One type of breaking that I haven't yet been able to try out is like Wild Card plus Diplopia. Blank Card plus the 2 of Diamonds with Restock. All these things, though, take time. It's fun to be able to bust the game wide open too, but it's like, one, it takes time, and two, there's eventually a point where you're just like, why don't I just play as Tainted Cane and just, clicker and R key, as you saw in that one run, over and over until I'm able to get the exact run I'm looking for. And the reality is, it's just like, yeah, at any point in time, you could just Tainted Cane and be able to beat the game completely. It's not that difficult, trust me. But I don't know. I'm still trying to at least mostly play the game in the way that Eggman McMuffin intended. Yeah, since I'm about to get rid of the Blank Rune, I'm just using... Or the Clear Rune, I'm just using everything right now. Because obviously, I'm not going to get rid of the Spin Down dice. That thing's way too powerful. And as much as I like the Clear Rune, which I got, of course, through using the Spin Down dice, as well as like the Oculus Rift, which makes those little rifts that cause a lot of the bullets and enemies to become completely neutralized. It's like, thanks to the Spin Down dice. Spin Down dice, red key, D infinity, D20, D1. All of these are your best friend when it comes to awful characters like this. They're the ones that will get you a winning run, even if it takes a very long time. I'm just saying that it's like, man... Yeah, see, there's the Oculus Rift working for me there. It's a very good item. Usually a Devil Deal item, but I got the Spin Down dice. Oh boy. Look at me. Every time I pause there, every time you see like a cut is me looking up to see, hey, a little clot. It's a good item. Get even more shots out here now. A little bit less powerful, but I mean with the lump of coal causing it to become more powerful as it travels along. Not a big deal. All right, what does this turn into? Bread. Yeah, well, Proptosis. Proptosis is a pretty big damage up, but, they become less powerful over time. Basically making it the opposite of the lump of coal, and now it's... You have two very specialized characters, but two characters that are both very able to kill things. Which means that Boss Rush is definitely going to be easy to do now. Also, one of the great things about the little clot, which, much like the Book of Revelations would highly recommend, stays with both of your characters. So you can do stuff like be able to have extra damage regardless of switching like that. Not everything does that. Like most of the... Really. Most of like the little familiars you get and everything get completely removed when you switch between characters. So I guess it's important to know when there are exceptions to that. Well, anyway. What you got? Let's see if it re-rolls into anything else. Hey, I didn't actually have like the Windows sound come up over and over and over. But no, nothing good, so yeah, Golden Touch, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Look, this should be a pretty easy floor to go through just because I used Mama Mega. It's pretty much a room clear, but like I said, the real thing you want to use with it is the whole ability to get a ton of, or to be able to get into the secret areas, the super optional, the super boss fights. I was gonna say optional boss fights, but no, if you're unlocking everything, you need to do everything. And I'm real close. I'm real close to actually doing everything. The only characters I have left are Tainted Jacob and Tainted Samson. And, you know, Tainted Samson is just... He's not difficult. I just don't want to... I just don't feel like... yeah, great. Don't even get shop items. Just because I don't really like his playstyle. But, pretty much that's... not a whole lot left, and past this point I might actually end up just instead trying to just doing Tainted Jacob runs past this point, because I'm sure that's probably going to be a lot of fun content. You know, the blood bag is funny because that spin down dices into brimstone, you know, the blood laser item, except I'm like, it also does give you a speed up, and you know who really needs a speed up right now? Yeah. Gives you a luck up penny, and like shot speed up. Is that really worth using flip for? Probably not, but I did it anyway. Whatever, like I said, the entire nature of having to do boss rush means that I'm going to be completely switching between characters over and over and over forever. It's pretty annoying, actually. Oh, that's also really bad because both the knockout drops. I mean, like I know, the virus, which is another speed up, which is nice, and also gives me spun, which is a big damage up. I got 3 syringes on that character, I guess, somehow. Yeah, it's like the spin down dice would turn the virus into magic mushroom, which is a 1.5 damage modifier, as well as an all stats up otherwise too. Full heal, a lot of good stuff. And knockout drops turns into something good, but I forgot exactly what it is. It's really good though, whatever it was. So it's like, yeah, that's unfortunate that I couldn't get either of those. However, whatever, it's another speed up, and besides, it's like, we're not here to optimize the run or whatever. As you can see right now, it's like, you know, Lazarus 2, the sequel to Lazarus, gets close to enemies, the Lazarus stays far away, kills everything really easily due to the whole... With the whole, like, Tech X laser beams becoming more powerful as they travel farther, it's like I can just hang around on the side of the arena and do a ton of damage, basically. Little Clot, of course, still helping out a lot. Fortunately, I do think it did die at this point, which is unfortunate because I don't think it respawns until you exit the room and then come back in. But hey, still did good while it was here. Also, little Loki. Look at him go. He's not really doing too much. I kind of have a chip on my shoulder against little Loki, to be honest, because he did ruin one of the good Tainted Jacob runs that I had going. One of the things I found out with that character is that you really do want to make sure that you don't have familiars that shoot behind you and, say, shoot directly on top of Tainted Esau, because that will kill him very quickly, and it's very hard to keep Tainted Esau alive. He's horrible. I hate him. Yeah, that's pretty much just managing keeping that guy alive is one of the most difficult things to do in that fight. I didn't actually mean to continuously run into enemies here, but, you know, I was just like, okay, come on, let's end this. Let's end this. Still got a good mother fight to do. Yeah, I said this is the boss rush, and it is. Even gave up getting a angel room. Because, by the way, if I went to that angel room, when I came back out, the door to boss rush would be closed. So, yeah. That's one of those things that you have to remember, that it's like, don't, if you are using the exploit where you, with exploit, if you're using the mechanic with Mama Mega to open that up, do not leave the room to go anywhere else first, because it will be closed by the time you get back. That's an unfortunate way. It's just like managing to get that to work, and then, well, it's gone now. Whoops, I didn't realize that would happen. But then again, there's a lot of stuff in the Binding of Isaac that, whoops, I didn't realize that would happen, occurs a lot. I love the inscrutable nature of the weird mechanics of this game, but, like, man, they do bite you pretty often, too. Think about, again, like a Tame Samson run that I had, where I didn't realize that taking, what is it, chocolate milk, the charge shots. Hey, there we go. And hey, it's a D1 again. I'm seeing that a lot as of recent. But yeah, as you can see, this was the run pretty much preceding the previous one. Hey, and the Angel Room's still open too. Oh, it's Breath of Life. That item is garbage. It's like the worst. It's like the worst item. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. I couldn't remember which one did it, but one of the key pieces rerolls into Death's Touch, which is like super big tears and the damage up, and they pierce. It's pretty good. It's a damage up though too, which is, you know, the more important, which I would have liked there. Oh well, at least it kind of locks in Angel Rooms for the rest of the run. Also, you can see some of the delightful glitches that we get from having Tainted Lazarus, you know, have two characters at once, where for some reason stuff like the familiars just kind of stay around there. That had a Guardian Angel or whatever it's called block a bunch of shots there, despite the fact that the character that he's supposed to be on doesn't actually exist. Whatever. Look, it helped on me that blocking enough shots makes him drop an Eternal Heart, which is why that spawned there. Well, anyway, this is pretty much just, you know, a foregone conclusion that I'm going to beat the mother fight. But I'm still going to show it anyway. Why not? I'm proud of this run. It took a long time to get here. It took a lot of editing. I'm looking at my timeline right now. It took a lot of editing out of me looking at the Binding of Isaac wiki to figure out exactly what things spin down dice into. But it is successful. I mean, just boss rush alone is successful. I really dislike the timed completion marks, which is boss rush and hush fight. And those are the ones that I always prioritize trying to finish up immediately, because you can get a good run going. You can get a good run going if you got the time for it. If you want to go play each one of the blood donation machines as much as you can and like do each one of these rooms. But that does mean that it's like you're probably going to miss out on that unless you get very lucky and are able to get a Mama Mega basically. Or blue key for Hush, I think is the only other thing that's going to make that work, if I'm not wrong. Any other way to get into the Hush fight? No, I think you used to be able to use, like, Dad's key or the Get Out of Jail Free card, which normally opens every door. Doesn't open those doors, though. Even, like, something new that they added in Repentance, the Cracked Orb, I think it's called, will open up stuff like the... Why am I doing that? I guess just because I have it. Will open up stuff like the Polaroid negative door that leads to the Beast fight, as well as the yeah, like the mother door that leads to the heart fight that I just did. But I don't think it opens up Hush or Boss Rush, which is, of course, the ones that I would want more than anything. Ah, well, that's how it goes. Anyway, the reason that I'm getting item rooms down on this floor is because of the Bloody Crown that Lazarus 2, the sequel to Lazarus, has. He needs to be the one that goes into... Oh, boy. And as you can see, I've spent way too long doing this for no gain. He takes so much money. He takes so much money. Why do they take so much money? Let the charge beggars pay out a little bit faster because Jesus Christ, they take so much money. But anyway. Yeah, the Bloody Crown gives you item rooms in the womb, but it's like, I don't know. Getting stuff like milk is not that important, but hey, well, why not? Like I said, I do have to remember that I do need to go into the next floor with a character that has the Bloody Crown, though. Because otherwise, yeah, you don't actually, you know, the thing doesn't spawn because you're considered playing as a character that doesn't have the Bloody Crown. It's really annoying. Unfortunately, as you can see right now, since I'm about to go re-roll that key piece into... That is not the right key piece. Well, whatever. I still have the double charge anyway. And yeah, just for extra health. Still the double charge anyway, ba-bam. And take the cat piece. You know, at least touch it. Make sure if I have the chance of getting Guppy, I can. Then spin it down one more time. There's Death's Touch. Yeah, damage up, baby. Finally. Then go grab this, and then I guess I could go play the Charge Beggar a few more times to try and get... Nah, screw that. Look, the run's already going on long enough. Let's just get to the end here. Yeah, that does mean that I don't have the cool extra item room, whatever. It doesn't matter. Look, the last one I got milk. Milk is good. It gives you a, what is it, +2 to tears ups when you get hit because it spills. Get it? Cry over spilled milk. That's a joke. But whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. There we go. Yeah, each one of these characters pretty good. Like I said, it's like that is entirely due to having some... No, it could re-roll my entire run. Drop it right now. Not even gonna mess around with that. Yeah, it's like the Wheel of Fortune is a cool card, but there's also a pretty good chance that it will just like like 30% chance it'll just re-roll your entire run, I think. Because there's 6 different die rooms and 2 of them re-roll your entire run. Yeah. But it's like you can also get the one that allows you to... what is it? Get a... like redo the floor. Like sort of like the Forget-Me-Not thing that I just did for the Hush fight. But that means extra items and everything. And extra rooms to go through for more consumables and extra chances for cards and all that sort of stuff. A Reverse Magician card is just big like forces. Ooh, what do you got? All right, sure. Big like repulsion of projectiles, which is good, but eh. I mean, I guess it's going to be useful here for the upcoming fight. The plan is obviously to just use the flip if I get into any issue at all with health, because both the characters are fine to fight the final boss right now. Still, though, I decide to be at least a little bit greedy because, whatever. Look, this is a run to do that with. I earned it after all the strife that I went through trying to get to the boss rush in the first place. So many times where it's just like, hey, I made it in 20 minutes. And I even got a character that had like Magic Mushroom and Tech X and everything, but nope, still died because the other character wasn't good enough. It's just so many runs like that. Or it's like, hey, this is a good run, but I couldn't quite force Mama Mega to appear. And it's like 40 minutes into the run, and yeah, that's... So it's like, this is a long time coming. And of course, it's like you can just Tainted Cane, but yeah, look at the Magician card working there. A regular Magician normally gives you homing tears. This one does the opposite of that. And look at it go. But yeah, also obviously having the Oculus Rift is helping out a lot too. There we go. First phase dealt with just by literally standing in her face shooting at her. And here's where I was starting to get a little bit worried, but nope, still working out just fine anyway. Yeah, there are certain cards like that, Arrow Walk, the I'm Drowsy pill. obviously reverse magician, that pretty much as long as you're not getting hit physically, like the enemy's not running into you, will pretty well protect you from just about anything. Sci-Fly is another one of those that was introduced here. Though these bullets are a little bit too fast to actually make that happen in the same way. It actually touched me too to get golded for a second. Gold? Oh well, whatever. Dealt with pretty easily. And then unlocked just one of the worst items. It's a trinket called the Torn Card. It's bad. It's pretty bad. And there you go, full post note. And now Tainted Lost. Coming in with one Tainted Lost run, which this was the run that I beat Boss Rush with. You might notice right now that I am definitely past Boss Rush. But after I got the Spirit Sword, I was just like, I should probably record this run. And so I did. So pretty much, all right, let's talk about Tainted Lost. So yeah, Tainted Lost naturally gets better items and whatever. It's just dies in a single hit. Does not get items that give him like extra lives or whatever. So he's just a horrible character to play as. And the goal for this run was Boss Rush. I wanted to hit up Boss Rush because that was the only thing I had remaining on the character, and I was successful. However, God, all right, so here's how Boss Rush pretty much went. I mean, up until that point, I had good stuff going on, especially with like the Book of Virtues again, giving me a lot of wisps. And, you know, I even managed to find a library, but couldn't get the one thing that I knew I really wanted to get out of it, which is pretty much the Book of Shadows. Book of Shadows, 3-room recharge, gives you like a 20-second invincibility shield. The Boss Rush room is like a double-sized room, which means that you are able to get 2 charges on a room each time you clear a wave. If you got the 9 volts, you can just recharge it every single wave. So if you have a good enough run, and you probably do as Tainted Lost, he gets better items, you can just stay invincible the entire time there. And that's what I was hoping to get the entire time that I was doing all these runs. I was just like, well, eventually I'm going to get a... Eventually I'm going to end up getting a library and get a Book of Shadows, and I'll be able to get to Boss Rush, and that'll be it. Never happened. That never happened for me. So instead what happened here was I had like a decent run going. Yeah, like Holy Shot, like Book of Virtues, a lot of good stuff, but it wasn't until I actually got to the Boss Rush and got the item that's spitting out a bunch of fire here right now, which is called Ghost Pepper, that I actually was able to like do it. Because here's the thing, Ghost Pepper. So I saw Ghost Pepper in the Boss Rush, and I'm like, wait a second, I remember seeing like a video on YouTube that's like Tainted Lost kill in 3 seconds or something without using Ghost Pepper. And I'm like, huh. That sounds like I should probably take Ghost Pepper, right? And so I did, and I definitely did not regret it. Ooh, soy milk. No. No, this is not time for soy milk. Yeah, because here's the thing. Each one of those flames does a ton of damage. It does like constant damage as if it's over an enemy. My tears are actually high enough that I didn't even get anything from that. Yeah, it does constant damage when the flame is over an enemy. It blocks projectiles from enemy. And because of Perfection, which you get for clearing 3 floors without taking damage, which is just an inevitability as a character that does not have health, it's like you can just shoot this out constantly. In other words, it may be the best character or the best thing that you can possibly get for this character. Like, look at it. If you thought that I was being a little bit too cheesy during the run that I did against Delirium and Hush before, well, I decided to just, again, this was a clowning run because I had already completed what I wanted to, and I was just like, I should record this, so here we go, and yeah. I don't know if you'd call this cheesier or if you'd call it a lot more legit. certainly I'm not, like, resetting the boss fight, so I want to say that this is more legit. But it was entirely dependent on me getting the Ghost Pepper in the first place. Good stuff. Oh, man. And yeah, I'm just like, well, let's do Delirium. Why not? Yeah, if you see this item as Tainted Lost, highly recommend taking it. Just say the least. Because, man... I mean, it's like, hey, I've been successful in not getting hit yet, which I think is pretty impressive. And that's still not easy to do. All I need is an enemy to just run its way... Oh yeah, I can just hit that with the sword. By the way, I didn't actually have the sword for the boss rush. And if you're wondering what boss rush was like, I faced left and shot out a bunch of flames, and then I faced right and shot out a bunch of flames, and I beat boss rush. It's pretty much what you would expect, I guess I would say. You know, like that explosion would have taken out the the shield that I have, the Holy Mantle, and that's bad. But thankfully, it's just like, you still got to play it at least decently. Obviously, I think that despite taking the Spirit Sword, I probably could have just not taken the Spirit Sword and been totally fine anyway. Just because, well, I mean, I can't really say that I needed it. And, like, shooting out tears is probably a bit more effective in terms of the fact that I won't get killed if I get too close to an enemy that explodes. But, hey, I took it anyway just because it's a cool item. Also, one of the things you might notice there is that apparently I got like 3 size ups. And I also got like a bunch of size downs or something. I don't know, but apparently I have Stomping now, which means that which means that like things that I walk over get destroyed or something. Or maybe it's like the sulfuric tears, because I just got hit by a mushroom there. I don't know. Maybe it's the knife that's getting like the sulfuric tears thing and it's destroying stuff under me. I don't know, but that was a pretty bad way to lose the shield. And that was when I was starting to sweat. You know the CNC Music Factory song, Gonna Make You Sweat? Well, that's what I was doing. Not that it really mattered because I've already beaten Delirium. You saw that. They put up an entire video on that. The point is, I was worried. The sun! Damage up, what is it, like piercing tears, a lot of good stuff, but it's like, I just did that because. I did not need to do that. Oh, I guess it's thematically good because Book of Virtues plus the Necronomicon. Hey, nice. Book of Virtues plus the Necronomicon gives me a like darkness aura due to the wisps that it creates because of that. Which is fun, but, you know. I guess, like I said, thematically appropriate. Not really important, though. Just did it because I could. Traps can still kill me in one hit, too. There's so many things that can still kill Tainted Lost in one hit. But, I mean, hey. I think if you're going to take anything away from this episode, it's use Book of Virtues when you get it. Like, Jesus Christ, it's so good. And also Ghost Pepper. Ghost Pepper, again, it's like the reason it works so well is because of the reason that Ghost Pepper works so well is because of the huge luck increase. It's a plus 10 luck that I get from just having this thing in the first place. Uh-huh. Bye, guys. Nerds. Although I think that also did destroy all my wisps, which is unfortunate, because that was the thing I was relying on to get a whole bunch of, you know, shot projectile blocking and everything. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ghost Pepper, it's like it works because you get perfection as the Lost. I mean, you can get it as any character, of course, but you're pretty much guaranteed to get it as the Lost due to dying in one hit. So you have to perfect everything. But it's like it also does, you also tend to get even more luck on top of that because the amount of chests that drop. It's like they have a higher, you have a higher tendency of seeing more lucky pennies and the like. So, you know. As you can see, I'm trying desperately to... Okay. I don't think this works here. Well, it gives me a bunch of wisps. Whatever, that's good enough. Then I'm just looking, maybe I can get like another holy card? No. Not at all. But like, yeah, it's like, yeah, other characters can get it, but I think it just works the best on Lost. On old Losty boy. Old Ghost Child. And it's like I could have taken like the mini clot again, but I think that it's just the ability to shoot out this much fire is still more important. Don't accidentally run into the exploding barrels. That would be an embarrassing way to lose this otherwise very good run. Still, it does mean that I now have to do Delirium without getting hit at all. Although I guess, like, I do have the Algiz rune. Algiz gives you the Book of Shadows effect on use, which is good. But still, it's gonna run out before I'm able to kill Delirium because he has like boss armor, and that means that you can only do so much damage against him. Yeah, thankfully it's just like, again, the fire also does block projectiles, so I suppose like I don't necessarily need the wisps to make that work. It's just, it does make it. There we go. It should be like every single swing that I do now. Also, totally lucky, I guess. Hey, red key, nice. I mean, I don't really have too much to use it on at this point, but it's still a cool item. Yeah, it's like, I guess the wisps are not that important, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I do believe that is the last boss room, so here he is. Alright, so the plan is maybe I can still just Algiz and then kill him quick enough anyway. Yeah, video on YouTube, just like killing Tainted Lost, killing Delirium without using Ghost Pepper. Yeah, well, with using Ghost Pepper. Apparently does not block, it doesn't seem to block Delirium's hits in the same way. Though the broken modem is still stopping the hits and kind of preventing them from appearing. Well, I lost my protection, so let's go. Oh, that was really close. That was really close. I walked directly into a lot of shots there. And I actually did it. Shocking even myself here. So yeah, there's like the legit version of fighting... that was not intentional.